Here she is.
Right-handed to screen. Emily Innes for LSU gets them started there. This is their best event. You think, man, maybe they want to save that for the end, but this is a great chance for them to get momentum early, see if it can carry them through the end.
Emily's shooting high on floor is a 9.925. Opening up with a front handspring double twist. Nice control out of that landing.
Finishing round off 1.5 to a step landing. That's what these teams need to do. I think the team that's going to win starts each event with a 9-9 score. That's just going to help build momentum throughout this meet.
You cannot say enough about starting big, especially on beam with a routine like that.
Emily's going to do 3 tumbling passes. Most of the athletes here will do 2. So she's taking extra risk and extra pounding on her body. Watch the height of this jump. Strong start for LSU.
Strong start all around. Gianna Gertis from Minnesota. A 9-8. Moments ago, this is Kira Wells, the NCAA champion on this event, led off in the semifinals and won the event. Here she is.
Yurchenko, 1.5. Likes to bring it upright so that her chest does not fall forward. She wants to be patient, not forward. We saw her stick that in the semifinal, which helped her national championship title here.
Yeah, they hit an impossible rotation in the semifinals on ball. Even their coaches said, hey, that's not going to happen again. We counted 4.5 sticks, if you will. They were sensational. I think the important part for them is come in and just control those landings. So far they have. Ariana Ostrom now from Minnesota in the 2 spot.
And Ariana is just a freshman, so doesn't have the experience of being here before, but that handstand right on top of the bar is exactly what judges look for. They want to see that vertical position. They give you within a 10-degree window, but Ariana is passing that with flying colors. Could not have done that routine better.
I didn't see one deduction, Allie.
I did neither. That's going to be, in my opinion, the highest score of the day so far.
How about
She
that
held
double
her
layup?
handstands, John.
Tremendous job. Hey, to go for contingency, they're already asking for a 10. We're only 2 routines in. Why not? Now, Sky Blakely, the sophomore, one of the best gymnasts in collegiate gymnastics, but one of the best gymnasts in the world. She has been a world finalist on the balance beam. She's been a world finalist on the elite bar. Almost made that 2024 Olympic team. Should have made it if it wasn't for an Achilles tear. She was on the doorstep of being an Olympian. All she had to do was stay healthy. It was heartbreak for her. But you know, this championship, a team championship for her Gators, would be huge for her. Nina Malou for LSU gets things going in the 2 spot for their floor rotation.
And Nina told me that semifinals she was really nervous. She said her legs were feeling like she was running in mud.
Hello, what do you mean? What do you mean? Hello, today training squats and back. Thank you for your attention. You can extend your day. Hello. Okay, 2-minute rest.
If you saw it in this first tumbling pass, she landed a little bit short. Excellent correction today.
Sky's been doing a really smooth beam routine. She actually scored a perfect 10 on beam this year. And get this, guys, Florida on beam is so good that 50% of their lineup has scored a perfect 10 in their career. That's one of the reasons why they feel so confident starting on such a nerve-wracking event. Finishing gainer full off the side. Very good job from Sky Blakely. Florida's 2 for 2 on hit on the routine.
I'll tell you what, I know it's going 2 routines in, but gosh, they look calm and poised.
Well, that score's gonna rise today. Big improvement from her.
No doubt about it, Allie. That was much better than the semifinal round, and she knows. Ariana Allison putting over to 9.9 in the 2 spot. Anna Shiley looking for the first 9
Hello.
from the Super Bowl location. Well scored with it at 9.8875.
Watch how hard she punches the board. Blue ball, their ball coach said, punch the board, don't get punched. And that's what helped her stick that landing.
I love that. I don't think I've heard that. Punch the board, don't get punched. And I'll tell you what, she laid a haymaker on that ball right there.
Look at her positioning when she hits the ball. Every single muscle, especially her core, is squeezed so she can drive her heels and get the maximum amount of block off that
This-
table.
Good point of view.
Drop position, flipping, and then of course spotting the ground for a perfect stick.
Hello.
Nicely done. They're hoping that it's lightning in a bottle for them with those sticks again here tonight.
Yeah, you know, it looked perfect in the air. I think if it's not going to be a 10, which I don't think it will be, it's going to come down to how high she went and how far from that table. She could have gone a little bit bigger. We'll see. There are some 10s coming up.
You know, the funny thing is, I asked associate head coach Lou Ball, how can you do that again? And he said, again, you got to catch the lightning in a bottle and ride that momentum. And they're trying to do that with those sticks.
That's a big number on the ball. 9.9625 for 5. Fouls at 9.9 from Sky Blakely on balance beat.
Another one of those athletes that has scored a 6-10 on being in her career. Looking at the argument, you can see the continuation. Oh,
What a save.
really good save. Her hips were completely crooked and had to recalibrate her body when she hit the beam. Something that you'll notice about this Florida team, though, we can say how good they are, but you gotta watch the diversity in their skills. It's really impressive. Right here, she's able to pin the inside of the beam and then find it quickly at the end. Finishing strong, 1.5 twist up landing. Minor mistake, not huge. She saved herself from a pretty major mistake there with that wobble. Check out her hip position when she lands this. Her hips are facing sideways and they have to be square over the center of the beam to keep her balanced.
One of the best stories of these national championships is Kate Torres. Taylor's got more.
1 for 1 in the all-around this season. John, in her senior year, she was unable to compete in the all-around, dealing with an ankle injury. She got the green light yesterday to walk away with an NCAA title. She told me all season, she told herself, she's looking at it's coming. And it did.
Absolutely, Taylor. Big time. National all-around champion. She's got more.
Nice. 1.5, not a perfect stunt landing, but she gets a good block off that table. It shows the airtime. Look at when her arms hit the table. They're completely square and straight. Lots of square bolts are made. You gotta wait and be patient in order to continue to rise up for the landing.
And the amazing part about her bid for that national title is she wasn't going to do it all around until Addison Theta, one of the best gymnasts in the country, had a hand injury between the regionals and the nationals. And that's how she got in particular on that vault rotation. So, wow, what a story for her. Lacey Saltzman, the freshman from Minnesota. Karen Crumbright for her, just a 9.7875. Doesn't feel like you can get away with counting that score here tonight.
And Lacey got a 9.9625 to semi, so she's hoping to replicate that. But looks like she's on the right track. Judges are looking for elbows so straight in between each skill, and of course the step dismount. Could be up to 110 for that step on the dismount.
Just took that dismount a little bit too far away from the bar. You could see it in the air that she was really looking for that landing. Just that small step, though. Nice job. Taylor DiCello now Follows a 9-8 from Frazier. That's their lowest score. Certainly they're going to want to drop that. Very capable with the 3 outs they have left.
Local might recognize Kayla DiCello from elite gymnastics, and it took her a little bit of time to figure out her routine construction because she has so many skills on this event.
Also a gymnast like Sky that was on the cusp of making that 2024 Olympic team, and she also had an Achilles injury, if you can believe it, that put a stop to that team as well. So overcome that this year. Here's Amari, great right-hand history for LSU.
And if you're watching that first floor class and you're new to gymnastics and you're wondering how bouncy the floor is, there is a little bit of a bounce, but it's nowhere near close to a trampoline. She just goes that high.
Oh, little bobble with Kayla Series. You gotta keep your heel planted, both heels planted when you land on the beam.
You're Florida or LSU right now. You're number 1 ranked in the country on the Venster competing. They want 9-9. And only 1 out of 6 athletes between those two teams is scoring 9-9. So that pick it up in the second half of the rotation.
Well, it's so much easier said than done. You have the nerves, the cameras are on to emulate what you do in the gym every single day.
Now these athletes, especially like Kayla DiCello, have competed in elite gymnastics, but college is a completely different animal.
They was a world all-around medalist, just to give you an idea of how successful she's been in the league.
I'm gonna guess that's gonna be LSU's biggest score. I'm gonna guess that's gonna be LSU's biggest score on floor so far.
Looking for that first 9-9.
I didn't see any landing deductions from Amari right there.
Kate Torres got a 9.9 for her vault, so back-to-back scores of 9-9 or better for the Oklahoma Sooners. Now one of the best freshmen in the nation begins to step in the 5 spot. She can keep that 9-9 streak going.
Doing a good shake though, 1.5. One step forward, and you know, we saw a lot of sticks from them on the semifinal day, but blue ball right there in the corner. The head coach says, I never stumped them this day. I just say, be close and be in a good position. But Kenzie did that.
And he actually told me that that's not going to happen again. That was really lightning about it. That was a tremendous ball from D-Step. He was over that and still took that pretty sizable step forward. Sled him now in the 5 spot for Minnesota, looking for a 9-9 here as well.
Emma's the first gymnast from Ireland to ever compete here at the NCAAs. You'll notice the extension all the way from her shoulders, her fingers to her toes. Haven't seen stuff bar dismounts. That's gonna be critical.
Oh, man,
Almost had it.
she needed some toes on her heels right there to hold on to that one. Just couldn't quite do it.
Over on beam for the Gators, Selena Harris Miranda about to mount. She's going down a college career here, obviously transferred in last year and has made a shot for the Gators. Jen Rowland just up on the podium with her said, whatever happens today, I am so proud of you. Go soak up this moment and enjoy it.
I love it.
We've been hearing so much about Selena's mental game as she moves up for a triple series. You're going to watch her do a back handspring, then a layout, then another back handspring, and she never wobbles. It is so impressive. The coaches talk about how strong she is mentally, and you really see that in how she's able to compete every weekend.
And she's number 2 in the nation on that event. She has 4 to 10. Speaking of scoring 10s, right hand of your screen, Kayla Trio steps to the floor for LSU. She has scored 12 10s in all 4 events this season, including 4 exercises.
And both of these athletes, Selena and Kaylin, are some of the best gymnasts in the country. Their consistency is unmatched. Slight wobble from Kaylin on floor. I just want to see that front foot planted when they lunge. No movement there.
rotation. After that step 9.8, 625.
Doing another,
So
you're
what's
taking
the
one half,
win?
they need a six. Oh!
As we shall receive.
That's like a parking, parallel parking at full speed, stopping exactly at the curb. No adjustment needed on this landing. Matt, watch how incredibly high she gets off the table, knowing exactly where she is to open up and squeeze her body for a no movement landing.
Blue ball right into your screen. Associate head coach, main ball coach, loved it. And I talked to KJ Kindler about Lily Peterson. I said, she is just a beast. And she is so overlooked, I think, in a lot of ways with other stars in that team. But right there, now we'll look over Alyssa Arana in the anchor spot in the first big break. But right there, now we'll look over Alyssa Arana in the anchor spot in the first big break of this competition.
You know, what's really interesting is they had a lineup change here in the finals. Alyssa tends to go in the second spot, but they were hoping to optimize their scoring potential by putting her in the anchor spot. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. The difference maker is really the mentality. When you go second, you're not going too late after your warm-up. You're still fresh and warm, but when you're in the anchor spot, you have to move around a little bit more, have a completely different routine. And my guess is her routine changed here.
That's might have been a little bit different, something she's not totally used to, but keep in mind, Florida hit 5 B routines before. Granted, they're going to have to count that 9-8 even from Frazier and a low 9-8 from Frazier, but this is still a good rotation. This is not catastrophic for Florida games by any means.
But they wanted to come out and be on top after this rotation. Look straight down the line, and her hips, again, just completely turn to the right side. And once you start moving your arms like that, you're completely off the beat. You gotta think of your arms like the steering wheel, so they have to be straight and strong in front of you.
Now to anchor this floor rotation, the number 1 floor rotation in the country is Kalia Lincoln. She follows Chio's 9.9. And if you want to see greatness embodied in one piece of gymnastics, just sit back and behold this first pass from Lincoln.
It gets better and better every time. I think that's the best stuff in the world. Of Kalia's jumps. These leaps and jumps are just as important as the tumbling passes. If you're new here, judges are looking for 1-3 splits and legs squeezed in between each jump.
The most explosive gymnast in the country.
Well, these routines take a lot of endurance, but you could never know by watching Kalia. Makes it look easy.
What goes up must come down unless you're Kalia Lincoln on floor. Gravity optional for that routine. I'm never in the shortage of being awed by that, no matter how many times I've seen it. So that will wrap up the rotations for all of the 4 teams, and the one that stood out, probably that Oklahoma ball. And Taylor Davis is with the head coach, KJ Kindler.
Sure am, Doug. Thank you very much. Well, Coach, starting on ball semifinals was advantageous. Your team did it again here today. What is it about that event that really gets the spark going?
Lincoln 9.9375 for that routine. Lily Peterson, what a big anchor spot for her as well. What a first rotation. We've got 3 of where the blue and orange.
The promise was originally
One of the most famous post games.
What's big about that? They put up a 49.6 on ball. That is a big number. They control the landings. They stuck a couple.
Her arms right by her ears as she crouches.
One.
And she said, I was so nervous
Так, що
Good
виходить.
start there with Lily Pearson here to lead off for the Sooners.
Lily is an athlete that I think is often underscored. She's in this leadoff position because of her consistency. The team can rely on her. Arms right by her ears as she catches that transition from high to low. Pirouette right on top of the bar. She's going to end with a double down dismount. Watch how tight her body is throughout.
Oh man, she fought for that landing, and I was about to say she is going to stick that. And looking over at Mary Jo, looks like a step in that low shoulders. Could be a double deduction there, unfortunately for Lily Pearson here. Ariana, the Golden Gophers, they got to keep hitting. Maybe get some help from those top teams in the form of some mistakes, but most importantly, control what you can control, and that's this Beaver team right now.
Well, Ariana is the fourth Gopher ever to win Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Has had such a big responsibility in just her freshman year, especially leading off being at the national championship, which Tom Cohen pledged to me.
Leading off the Gators on Clark, just eyes right into the screen. Gabby Isidore. The Gators a little over 2 tenths behind, remember, the leading team, the Oklahoma State. We have seen them come back from 2 tenths in one rotation. They have 3. They're fine with that.
Finishing with a sub landing. That's how Oklahoma or Minnesota wants to start our team for sure.
Gabby just really, really nice control on that landing.
That's what I'll go. It was an icon deep reset.
Gabby uses these moments right here to breathe and relax. Herself before her tumbling pass. She's going to do a one-half front layout. Watch her arms fly out to the side in the layout. Good start for Florida.
They had a great start on the balance beam as well. How do you keep that rolling? This is moments to go. Confident playing.
She's got a smorgasbord of issues on the right side of her body, according to coach. So this is a great vault. We'll take that vault. Drops it. That is an exclamation point.
That's a smorgasbord of awesomeness, Sam Pescic.
Well, he hits the table so hard, hits so high off the air. You see a little leg separation, but we'll see what the judges saw where they're sitting.
The freshman Ella Murphy in the 2 spot for Oklahoma.
You'll notice Ella's toe point that really sets her apart. This pirouette right on top of the bar. Judges actually allowed for a 20-degree window, but she was very vertical.
Wow.
The one thing with Ella's routine is sometimes she doesn't stick it. She did today.
Absolutely, Allie.
She's just a freshman. OU's freshman actually accounts for 30% of the routines this season, so it's extra impressive.
And watch the shoulder position all the way open, horizontal in the backswing, elbows extended when she catches the bar, and waiting to stick when it counted. We often say sticks are contagious. Coach Kindler, yes, in the semifinals, called it a fire starter. So I'm going to predict we're going to see more step dismounts from Oklahoma on bars.
Yeah, we saw that step from Lily Pearson. I don't want to overstate that deduction, but that was a leadoff routine. She sticks that, and she's at a 9.95 at least in a leadoff spot. Sam, you mentioned how important 9.9s are in a leadoff spot. Maybe let that 10 slip away. That would have maybe set up that rest of the bar. She's still some great gymnastics to go, but that's a big moment.
Yeah, that 2-10 lead after the first event, I think has really given them a breath of fresh air. They can compete free, and that's what head coach KJ Kindler said is the team that's going to win the national championship.
Danny Ferris on the 2 spot for the Florida Gators. 9.8625 for Isidore.
Danny's going to open up with a full twisting double back.
Oh,
No movement of that front foot.
chance to do it. All right, balancing Minnesota Golden Gophers. Sarah Moraw, the third gymnast out in 9-9. Could this be a little bit of a run for the Gophers?
Yeah, Ava had such a good and solid routine, and something that stands out to me about this Minnesota team on beam is their composure. Watch how secure they are in their landings. They have so much confidence when they plant their feet on the beam.
Back to that freshman for Oklahoma, here's Mackenzie Easton.
Mackenzie has had an incredible freshman year. Watch the way she catches this release move. She's going to go to the high bar. She's going to do what's called a blind change. She's going to try to land the pirouette on top of the bar and immediately into a dismount.
Well, you said it. 6 up to Patriots. Curious how many they're going to get from here on out. We saw that happen with this Oklahoma team in the semifinals.
How about that? Back-to-back freshman routines right there. Probably going to be 2-9-9. And I talked to KJ Summer yesterday, and she said they got the #1 recruiting class in the country coming in. I mean, talk about a formidable foe. The rest of the country's got to be pulling their hair out.
Sarah built her team, slight balance check after her series, but other than that, it was solid. The important thing on balance beam is to stay on the beam, have solid routines, and so you can build those momentum.
Playing 9.875 in the 2 spot for LSU. Victoria Roberts, 9.875 in the 3 spot. Now in the 3 spot for the Florida Gators on the Florida side. MJ Frazier. They are flirting with the 9-9. The scores are building. That's what you want. But now in the middle of the lineup, looking like Florida, 9-9 is better with me.
Yeah, John. MJ got a 9.9375 in semis.
And you get that Gators big time air on his ball she's about to do.
She stuck it in the semifinal. Watch how high she gets off the table. When she does it well, she waits to twist, and that helps her stay the landing. Then under rotation, that's up to 110 deduction in addition to the step.
And I will say, Sam, we've seen some very good balls. That was a very good ball. We've seen some under-rotated balls that were very nice, but the judges are very happy to take. You said up to 1. They would love to take 1. I feel like they'll take 1 and a little tip at the end if they have the opportunity.
Yeah. And now all these teams are chasing Oklahoma, especially looking at what they're scoring on bars right now.
Yeah, he's stepping 9.9375.
I would be surprised if that wasn't a 9.9 from MJ. She had a phenomenal semi day, placed third in the all-around.
MJ transferred from Cal after last year. Their coach moved on from Cal to Clemson. She moved on from Cal to Florida and been a great addition to that team. Now the NCAA team champion from 2 days ago. This is Brooklyn Rotary.
Starting off that handspring layout, nicely done. It's been 36 years since Minnesota has won a national championship title, and Brooklyn has broken that drought by becoming the 2026 national beam champion. If you're curious, who won that championship title in 1990? It's John Roethlisberger's sister, Marie Roethlisberger. She was the only national championship title in history before this year, and I was told this team looks at her banner every day and draws inspiration from it, and to see what's possible for Minnesota gymnastics in the future.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a little boy growing up that looked at her for inspiration as well. Now it's me.
Well, I know she's looking and watching this team and is very proud because it means so much to this team. They get the opportunity to continue her legacy tonight.
How about that? Man, she could work some bars too. Never mind that right foot, it's pointed, you just can't tell. But she was incredible, man. If we had more time, I'd tell you all about her. Amari Drayton, the 5th gymnast to go, 9.8 for Lincoln. Again, judges took everything they could on that ball. The moral of the story, do not under-rotate your balls at this championship. You will get hit.
She cannot try too hard to stick this. And she did. One step forward, you see that mat sliding. It's kind of like in golf. If you force the swing, you end up messing up your timing.
That's a great now. I just put it in the neighboring fairway is what I do. Sky Blakely. Henry Fraser's getting closer out to that 9-9 with 9.8875.
And watch this tumbling pass. So difficult. The back was perfect. We don't see any other methods for double fronts in this competition. That's the type of tumbling pass that you see at the Olympic Games. So difficult.
A little off balance on that connection. We can't stress enough the amount of adrenaline that is running through these athletes' bodies. They're doing such a good job of making it look easy, but what's actually happening on the inside is chaos.
Sam, that's so right. Gymnastics is a unique sport where I don't think it's good for everyone. Just want to feel calm and relaxed. So much easier said than done though when you know you're trying to win a national championship. That's the difference in Florida.
Will that get them across the 9-9 barrier? Why is 9-9 important? 9-9 average for 198 score we set all season long. You got to go 198 to win a national title.
And watch the way she has to land upright in order to connect the jump out of it.
Sky Blakely is such a great athlete, great inspiration, great human being. We will be hopefully watching her this summer at the U.S. Championships as she makes her return to elite gymnastics. Men, they could be at the World Championships last fall and try and make that 2028 Olympic team. Here's Lauren Pearl to see it on me.
I actually trained with Lauren when I was competing. We trained together for many years, so I've known her for a very long time. This is a big test for her. Nice. Actually, about a week ago, Lauren fell. We call it a beat bite. Maybe you can see when she turns around, she has a big bruise on her leg. Fell on that exact skill that we just saw. Takes so much mental toughness to get back up on the beam. Our coaches used to tell us to pretend that you're trying to break the beam, hit it so hard, be so aggressive, just like Lauren's doing. She just has to take it one skill at a time. Unfortunately, dipped her shoulder in her arm. Has to rise her hips for the dismount.
Man, great from Tina Alley. Just a little bit, gave away a little bit there at the end. Kayla Cello follows Sky Blakely's 9.9125. Those two athletes share the podium at a World Championships in the all-around.
Really big pull in to get things started. See how she just had so much control when she placed that back leg down for the lunge. That is a perfect landing.
Kaylin Chio, left-hander stream. LSU looking for their first 9-9 on vault in this rotation. If anybody can do it, it's Kaylin Chio.
What separates her from others are the fact that she's able to be consistent on blind landings like this Yurchenko 1.5. It's a rare level of spatial awareness. I don't know if I've ever seen before. Let's see if she can do it again.
Cannot make it up.
She's in her own league.
She can unscramble an egg every single time she goes to the ball. You think, well, this time she's not going to stick it. And in the biggest moment of the year, she just does it again.
I've never seen it Good form from Kaylin Cello on floor.
You know what's impressive about Keelan is actually she was crooked. Look how off to that left side she was on the table, but she just adjusts so quickly and then hit the brakes at full speed. No one can do it like Kaylin Chio.
That's a great catch, Sam. Kaylin's usually more in the middle of the table. When she puts her hands down, she was towards the end. Even more impressive, she stuck it.
And she matches Lee Thomas for 2023. She gets the 10 off 6 seconds. Agreed on that one. And what a time to do it. They still make it a 9-9. Well, they just skip right over it. Got 10. And what's the noise and the chaos? Faith Forrest is here, all-around champ at these NCAAs. Going following Caitlin Smith's 9.9.
Oklahoma's that team that's just chipping away.
Oh, they wanted that stuff landing.
Looks like she let go of the bar too early. She needed to hold on a little bit longer. That's a 110 deduction for that step.
And that was a great bar rotation. And this is going to sound ridiculous, but one of the best team of the last decade. You set the standards high. Lily Houston step at the beginning and Faith Torres and step at the end. That's a couple of tens. Man, as we go over the
It's interesting. I'm hearing from some of the athletes the bounce at the high bar, they said feels a little bit different and off. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of stuff landing. Same thing in semifinals. We didn't see a lot of stuff this time.
let's go over to Florida. She's out of tailgate.
Selena Victoria getting ready to go here on floor for Florida. You all called attention to the adrenaline, the energy. It's interesting how these teams are harnessing it differently. Florida has remained very poised, very normal. Selena Victoria, she was just eating a second car. That tells you anything. LSU really feeding off the energy. They have purple shake dancing the entire time. Different approaches to a high intensity moment.
Well, I did just say a big deep breath from Selena before she started. Maybe that's her routine.
I spoke to Selena yesterday at practice. She told me she was more nervous than usual for the semifinals. She reminded me she's actually never competed in this competition in the finals before. She's also a teacher. So there's a lot of emotions for her in this moment right here.
Florida did not catch Oklahoma on this routine. Or still waiting for Faith Forrest to come in. But they can go to the gap. It's down there 26-5. Blow all the numbers behind Dustin Place. That is how far behind Oklahoma they are right now. LSU just one step back. As the Faith Forrest score comes in, 9.875.
Selena's got 4.9975 in her career. So she's certainly capable of a big score. Watch the jump out of this.
It's rare to get a perfect 10 at this meet, so there's more judges than the regular season, but we just saw it with Kaylin Chio on vault, and if Selena gets a perfect 10 on floor, it'll be her first gym slam. That means she's already got the perfect 10 on all the events.
So it's now or never, because she's not going back to Florida. This is her final competition. I don't think it's going to be a 10, but if it's higher than a 9.8625, that will increase Florida's team total and close that gap between them and Oklahoma.
I think she'll certainly get that 9.862 score. It's hard to get a 10. You gotta get a 10 from 5 judges.
Yeah, it really is, and that's a testament to Kaylin Chio's ball.
Speaking of people and athletes that need one more 10 to get that gym slam, it's also Kaylin Chio. She did break the 10 record in the season with our very own Kennedy Thomas. The only athlete that has ever scored more 10s in one season is Kyla Ross. And if Kaylin gets one more,
Что за бред?
Their assistant coach brings to this beam squad is how confident she makes them feel before they approach the beam.
And Sam, also this arena today feels really cold. It may actually feel extra cold.
Так,
So it's
мостик.
really hard when you're waiting, standing up there, you're nervous to keep your body warm,
Breach.
but also mentally fresh.
Sleeper 20-45 second. Rest 90 second.
For Jordan Lyden, she is so icy when I watch her compete. There's no stressful or strenuous movements. Everything looks smooth. And then she lands very calmly and into those transitions effortlessly. This would be a really big score for Minnesota if she sticks the landing. And they needed that because Lauren Pearl got a 9.4375. That was basically like a fall in their round. So Minnesota's still in this, especially with Jordan Lyden's score today.
Yeah, that's not like a meat-saving routine.
100%.
You know, they're already at a deficit of about 3/10, a little over 3/10 after the last rotation. So you think, hey, we can't just be okay, we've got to be great. And to count a score in the 9-4s would have just been catastrophic. So Lyden in a clutch moment for the Golden Gophers. What a season it's been. They got a new training facility out there in Minneapolis, and Jay Hansen just done a great job in her 12th season at the head of that program.
It was interesting. I had a chance to be included in their team meeting yesterday. They flew out their mindset coach, Ryan Romano, here. And in his speech, he said, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you decide that you deserve. So continue to create that dream. And I looked around and every single athlete on this team was shaking their head. They don't want to just compete here. They want to contend.
Absolutely. Deserve is a dangerous word. Sometimes you just got to go out and get it. Jordan Lyden, a 9.9125, maybe the most clutch routine from any team tonight, was right there. Kayla Chio, she just does Chio things. 13 times she's got a perfect 10 in 2026. She passes Trinity Thomas and just trails Kyla Ross by 1. Kyla Ross, man, she was sensational. We've got a fantastic competition here in Fort.
Competition.
We are halfway through. Katie Rose in the crowd. Hold on to your butts, Samuel L. Jackson would say. We've got a good one. Back at Dickies Arena, halfway through. Oklahoma still holds that lead. It's only 1/10 ahead of LSU. Florida Gators 2.5 tenths behind, and Minnesota's still hanging in there. Head coach KJ Kimmer in her 20th season as the head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, and what a run it has been, Allie.
They won 7 out of the last 11 championships, and it's because of their attention to detail. The toe point, every arm and finger has a specific position.
Yeah, people throw the word dynasty around often, but it is very applicable to this Oklahoma program.
You all know the names, the stars, and the stories. Greatness defined by the number of trophies held or by consistency over time. The Oklahoma women's gymnastics team has done both. Since 2006, Coach KJ Kimmer has led them to 18 championship appearances and 7 national titles.
They are the champions.
Call it what it is, a dynasty.
Year after year, we see Oklahoma freshmen equipped to not just compete a few times, to contribute to the legacy. But that's not something that starts just when they get to Norman. They've been mentally preparing for this for years. In fact, this year's freshman class was in attendance this time last year here in Dickies Arena to watch the Oklahoma Sooners hoist the national championship trophy. I spoke with Mackenzie Easton, who told me how important it was for that class to have that experience and know they were just a year away from the opportunity to repeat that magic. And here they are a year later, pillars of this program. Coming up next in rotation 3, you're going to see a few of them. Ella Murphy, who is
Дурак, что делаешь?
beam, along with her teammate Faye Torres, who's third on beam. Couple other top 10 individuals, and Selena Harris-Miranda and Connor McLean headed to their various apparatus. There is so much more to come. We're halfway home. Stay tuned after
halfway through this competition. Oklahoma still maintains that lead. They've extended the lead a little bit.
Oklahoma.
It's not comfortable. Let's just put it that way. A 1/10 lead can evaporate in a blink of a step, literally. So it is a long way to go here. The Florida Gators.
Okay,
they
James.
go in this rotation.
Whew.
You can see where everybody goes. LSU,
Finish it.
Oklahoma, being Minnesota, Florida. Well, this
Hello.
is a big moment for Florida. I don't think.
Thanks for your attention.
I don't think they catch Oklahoma, but they gotta keep
Today is
that
done.
lead.